hear me now?
Yes.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome, race fans, to PitStop TV. As usual, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter tonight. Dylan Davidson will join me on the call this evening. Trey Shuttlesworth on social media coverage. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is PitStop TV's live coverage of the BRP iRacing series at Don Martin's Lernerville Speedway. We join you tonight from the virtual Sarver, Pennsylvania for the second round of the BRP iRacing Series 360 Sprint Car season. Dylan, we saw a dandy 1 week ago at Volusia Speedway Park. It was certainly one way to open up the season, I'd say. And there was a lot of good racing, though it was a little bit caution-laden to get the season going, looking to turn that around this evening at Lernerville. It is, I suppose, one track where you might be able to get rid of some of those guys that are causing some of the yellows because you don't have walls around this place, save the front straightaway. So if somebody is giving you some trouble, I guess you could feed them a right rear tire and send them off into the weeds.
Definitely. The outside of this track is often treacherous, and we will see that tonight. Last week, we saw great racing, as you said. Travis Miller coming away with a win, Thomas Richard in second, and Ludwig Busson all putting on a huge race at the end of the coming to the final laps. It was caution-laden, but after the cautions, we had about 10 laps of hard racing, and they put on one hell of a show, and it's going to be just the same tonight.
Oh, absolutely. These guys are just getting this track worked in, and it's already looking slick from top to bottom. That's really going to limit what these guys can do. Obviously, you can try and get the car down to the bottom side, power through some of that rubber that's being put down in the dirt, but I think the popular thing to do, just because it looks cool, is to go up and ride that cushion here at Lernerville.
Definitely. That cushion can also provide a lot of traction for these cars, and it sometimes can be the fastest way around the track. It's often,
I'll step in for Dylan then. It's often one of those things that you can do and actually get a little bit of speed. And actually, I think it's the faster way to do things. If you can get up there and just put that right rear tire right on that berm and use that cushion as an extra bit of banking for that right rear tire. But as you just saw the 52 car of Kevin Stebbins do, it's very easy to overstep those bounds and easily go up over that cushion, end up on the downhill slope off into the trees, off into the fences down there. It is so fun of a line line that you have got to ride here at Lernerville. Or you see guys like this. Liam Daniels currently working the bottom side, trying to find some speed down there. I do believe we're going to treat the track a little bit, though, Dylan, because this place is pretty worn out already. You see, there really is a bottom and a top line. That's about it. And these guys have really worked in those two lines overall, and really the bottom side more than anything else, because you can see that loose dirt really stretches all the way from just above the bottom all the way up the racetrack, and even the guys who are riding the cushion right now are running through some of that loose dirt.
Definitely, it does cause for a little bit of caution going into the corners. You don't want to push these cars too hard, or else they will go off the end of the track easy enough. It is definitely going to be a two-lane track, though, tonight, as we see some of these cars rolling the bottom and making it work. But the top side can also be extremely fast, and it'll make for some side-by-side racing throughout the night.
So we mentioned that race that we saw 1 week ago at Volusia Speedway Park down there in the great state of Florida. Let's take a look at the point standings as they sit, leaving last week's season opener. Travis Miller, of course, with the race win, takes the points lead. But Thomas Richard and Ludovic Buisson not very far behind. Matt DeRitter even very heavy on the assaults already, only 6 points back of our points leader. Adam Hilton in the top 5 along there, actually tied with Kevin Stebbins, we saw jump the cushion not so long ago. Dan Sider in 7th, Corby Daniels 8th. You see Brett Haas, Patrick Reiser in the top 10 as well. Everything pretty close together as you'd expect for a first race point standings, but I would not be surprised if that 22 starts to try and walk away with things.
Definitely. We have to talk about Corby Daniels, though. He came from the back of the field as he was in a caution early on in that race, and it was he came up through the field, and I think once he gets out in the clear, he's going to make things happen. He's going to be one of our top runners tonight. I can guarantee it.
We'll have to watch out for him and more. Of course, a lot of heavy hitters that we saw last week. Can't wait to see what they can do this evening. But before we go any further, as these guys get ready for their drivers' meeting, you'll see some drivers continue on the racetrack, some drivers opt to head down to the pit lane to get a better listen in on things. But Dylan, go ahead and run us down through our league partners this evening.
Of course, Bicknell Racing Products out of St. Catharines, Ontario. For all your racing needs, go down to Bicknell Racing Products. They have everything for dirt cars to asphalt and in between. Rival Power Coating, also located in St. Catharines, Ontario. They can, for any power coating that you would need, whether it be on a race car or a chassis or just any sort of home project, they are the guys to go to. Matt DeRitter Designs. We see a lot of cars out here, a lot of beautiful cars designed by Matt DeRitter. His services are open for any iRacing driver, and not just another racing podcast with Pat Reiser, also a very good sponsor for the series. A lot of talk about iRacing and the virtual racing world. Very interesting stuff.
And of course, we also want to talk about our partners here at PitStop TV, and we'll lead off, as always, with Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. You provide the image you want, and they will custom create a beautiful framed, high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. With Sound Art, you truly get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional info, and use promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your order today. Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine puts your appearance first. And of course, when it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. At Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Boyer, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call or text them at 207-358-8683. Again, that number, 207-358-8683. If you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, give them a call today to book a consultation. PitStop TV's new parent organization, Whiplash Media, specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence in real racing, offering services like photography, social media management, and public relations. Go to whiplash-media.com for more information. Dylan, these guys getting up to speed, getting settled in, and as we already talked about, getting this track worked in, and you can see this is Connor Ross we're watching right now in the number 35 machine. These guys have really limited their options. He's up there. He goes off the cushion. Oh, and he's flipping out of turn number 2. That's going to be common, I think, this evening. It's easy to do that, as we were talking about. It's very easy when you're riding that top side to get up just a little bit too far. Otherwise, you're like Corby Daniels right here, sticking that left front in the grass to try and get it to turn.
Definitely. It's more the conservative option on the inside, and sometimes it can be the fast way around this track, as it usually holds a fair bit of bite because not as many cars are running down there. But if you can put it on that cushion around the top side, it provides for a fast racing line and can be dominant through the night. It's just if you make one mistake, you're going over the edge.
Yeah, going over the edge, quite literally falling off a cliff. You see all these guys struggling for rear grip right now. That's going to be the story of this evening, I think, because this is a wide racetrack. They're going to slick this thing off pretty quickly, I think, because they're going to be running every which way, every which lane around this place. It's not like Volusia where you really do. I mean, you have the guys who just get right down around the bottom and the guys who try and ride the top side. It's really just all for yourself. I mean, you can run about anywhere around this place. It's what makes this place so great for 3-4 wide racing sometimes. You can run the bottom, the middle, the top. You can try and find speed just about anywhere around here, I'd say.
Definitely. It is a multi-lane racetrack, and that provides, or that creates some really great racing, especially when you get skilled drivers behind the wheel, and we have many of those in this series tonight. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how these guys navigate the speedway.
Absolutely. Matt DeRitter up over the fence, or sorry, not the fence, the cushion there in turn 2. Trying to get back on. We'll see if he can do so here in 3 and 4. You know what? I'd like to see a dirt series where we make tracks that are actually off camber, and you're trying to struggle like that, because he was wheeling that thing. Here's Travis Miller, who won last week at Volusia Speedway Park, and the 22 looked pretty good in some practice, some other races that I saw him in this week. He's certainly got a good piece underneath him in that number 22 Textron machine, and well, he pops up over the cushion there in 3 and 4. But hey, you've got to get up there and you've got to mess up a few times to figure out exactly what you can and can't do.
Definitely, you have to push those limits in order to find that edge, and that's exactly what these guys are doing in this practice. It's just seeing how far they can get before going over the end, and then most likely applying that in the race. It's going to be, I think we're going to see a lot more conservative driving during the race, because when you lose that time, it's extremely hard to get back unless there's a caution.
Yeah, and with a place this racy, everybody's going to be able to race you, and everybody's going to be able to defend, but it will open up some passing opportunities. So I'm very curious to see how these drivers tackle falling and gaining up through the field and just trying to race one another. Do want to mention these guys, of course, have some realistic weather conditions to battle with, as always here on iRacing.com simulation. And let's see, we got about 77-degree temperature. It's actually pretty fair. I think this is actually iRacing default weather, which if you don't know, is right about 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Very calm winds, only 2 miles an hour, and very fair humidity, I think about 55% as well. So a very just normal race out here, nothing too crazy, very fair, and it shouldn't impact the race. There are some times where you can mess with the humidity settings and you can mess with the temperatures to really change up the way even a dirt track drives. It's usually a factor in pavement racing, but even in dirt, it can have an effect.
Definitely, especially with the increased humidity. If the humidity gets overly high, you'll see the track hold the moisture as there's moisture in the air, and that provides for fast racetrack most of the time. But tonight, I think we're going to see this track dry out a little bit. Well, a lot of it, seeing the state of the track as it is right now.
Yeah, and this practice session's only been up for about 28 minutes. See, 2 minutes left in this 30-minute session, so these guys slicked this thing off pretty quickly. I mean, we came in, we introed, 17 minutes in? So they only had 15 minutes to go out there and run on this racetrack, and they slicked it off real quick. I wonder what it started at as well. But, again, I think we're going to treat the track a little bit, try and water it back down, and tear some of this rubber up, because, I mean, this, it wouldn't be bad to me at all to run a race like this, but I don't know if these drivers would be all too happy with it. It'd be pretty cool seeing them struggle for grip, though, through these very wide corners here at Don Martin's Lernerville Speedway. This track was just recently added to the iRacing.com service, and I'm so glad it was as well, because it is one of those unique tracks that just does not have walls. You see a lot of tracks, I think, like that across the country, a lot of dirt tracks that way, even pavement tracks. Oxford Plains comes to mind, but you don't see too many that get onto the iRacing service. I'm really glad we finally got one, because it's really easy to wreck into some walls, but I mean, you finally get some dirt that you can shove somebody off onto, I guess, if you start to feel that way. And it just adds a dynamic, element to these races where, again, you've got to ride that fine line of that cushion around this place, or you are up and over the hill and off into the weeds.
Definitely. It creates a huge factor for the drivers. They can use it to their advantage, or it could be their worst enemy as well. It could ruin races. We've seen that many a times, guys going off the end and just not being able to slow down before they hit the real outside wall. And it just destroys cars with the amount of speed you get coming off the banking.
Yeah, that could definitely be a problem, especially on a turn 4. I think that's where the biggest problem is going to be for these guys popping up over that cushion. It seems like most of these guys do it in turns 3 and 4 anyways, so you can go off in 3 and 4 and hit that wall that's back there off the center of the corner, but really, you've really got to watch it coming off of turn 4, because if you miss just like that, how Matt DeRitter just did, you can absolutely get up into that wall pretty hard, and at least out of turn 2, you've got some room for error. You've got some room to mess up and not tear up your race car, so we'll see how these guys tackle this evening. It's certainly going to be a dandy, just like last week was, as we transfer from practice into qualifying. And, man, you're going to know some of these guys a whole lot better than I am, but I think one that we need to watch out for, just like last week of Volusia, is going to be Travis Miller in the 22.
Travis Miller's always proven to be a top competitor, and he just knows how to get around these tracks. He's got a lot of practice and just knows the dynamic of the car, knows the dynamic of the track, and where the fast line is on all these speedways. He's definitely going to be the guy to watch tonight, as we see him second fastest in qualifying, only second to Ludwig Besson, who put on a show last week as well, another top driver. I believe we're going to see a couple battles between the two of them.
Currently watching some of these guys get up to speed during qualifying. One thing you'll notice is different from a real racetrack to iRacing.com is when these guys just have lapped qualifying, they all run at the same time as opposed to running one after the other and trying to queue everybody up and coordinate a qualifying session as Ryan Susi goes to the top of the board. So it's pretty convenient that you're able to just run everybody's laps at once instead of taking an hour for qualifying sometimes if you get a 30, 40 car field. These guys can get everything out of the way just like Ryan Susi just did. He goes to the top of the board again at a 13.691, but Randy Garreau is going to tie that time.
Randy, another top runner. He is putting on a show up on the top
there
side.
He goes, P1.
He just gets the quick time again. And just fantastic run from Randy Garreau in that number 24 car.
That's big for Randy to go up to the top spot after Ryan Susi was looking like he was going to have it. Joe Matthews up over the cushion there in the back stretch. That's going to hurt his qualifying time. We'll see if he can still recover from that. Some more cars getting onto the racetrack. A lot of the Frenchies, the resident Frenchies, including Ludovic Busson, who went P3 1 week ago. And this 72 looking pretty quick again.
Yeah, definitely. So we see him come around 3 and 4 now. Thomas Richard with the new fastest lap, though. Can Ludwig get it on the, or this was his last lap, and he's not going to make it to the pole, but still a strong qualifying, nevertheless.
And there goes Travis Miller. He goes to, third place. A big improvement there. Thomas Richard has gone purple in this qualifying session, puts another lap in. We'll see how that works out for him, and well, it works out pretty nicely, I'd say, considering he is on the pole position. So we had that tie originally between Susi and who was it? Was it, I forget who it was he was tied with now. But either way, he got up there, went a bit faster, and then 5 of the cars beat his time. We have Thomas Richard, Kevin Stebbins, Travis Miller, Randy Garreau, and Connor Ross, who all went faster than Ryan Susi. We have one more car left on the racetrack. We'll see how this works out for Adam Hilton as he exits turn number 4 to take, I believe, that should complete his first lap or start his first time lap. That starts his first flying lap. We'll see how it goes for the number 3 car of Adam Hilton.
You see all these cars running the top side as he enters 3 out of 4, down onto the front stretch, and still a strong run.
He gets the one lap in, doesn't get a chance to set a second lap. Looks like the session ended before he could. One thing we didn't mention in that qualifying session, Dylan, I'm still getting used to that. Your last name's Davidson. I did the same thing pre-race, but Dylan, one thing we didn't mention was that the track has reset back quite a bit. They tore all that rubber up, put some water down. There's still some slicker on the top side, but a much tackier racetrack, especially around the bottom. Look for some big moves from the guys who did not qualify up at the front. But you know what? Go ahead and walk us down our grid, and we'll see who starts up at the front for our first heat race.
Starting on the first row, on the inside, on pole, is Thomas Richard in the number 23. On the outside of him is Randy Giroux, starting second, the number 24. Row 2 on the inside belongs to Ludwig Busson in the 72 car. On the outside of him, Matt DeRitter. Inside on the third row is Brett Haas in the 55, and outside of him is Liam Daniels. Starting seventh in the number 16 is Derek Woodzeek, and on the outside of him in the number 60 is Brian Berger. And starting shotgun on the field is Adam Hilton in the number 3.
9 cars ready to go 8 laps for our first of 3 heat races. All these, I believe all these racetracks are going to have the same lap counts no matter the event, and that is 8 laps for each heat, 10 laps for each LCQ, each consolation race, each consi, and then we will have a 30-lap feature, but only 5 will transfer from each event, so you get a total of 25 drivers in each race. I believe we had about 27, 25, somewhere in there show up, so we might not be sending anybody home, but we'll see how it all goes, beginning with heat number 1. The top 5 transfer out of this into the feature. They go green flag racing, and they're off at Lernerville into turn 1.
Giroux on the top side gets the jump, but Busson to the inside, contact, Busson over then it's a caution. Huge wreck.
That was massive, and that's exactly what you can easily do here at Lernerville. We talked about it already, how easy it is to jump that cushion and send somebody off. I didn't think we'd see it the first lap of racing here, Dylan, but we have. Ludovic Busson makes a mistake, just gets into, who was that? That was the 24 of Giroux that he sent flying off into the weeds. We'll see it all here once more in our instant replay, and yeah, Ludovic just, I think, tried to clear Giroux, but he never was clear.
Definitely just tried to maybe throw a slider or something. Real aggressive driving off the very beginning of the race, and it did not work out for either of the drivers as they're going to join the tail of the field now.
Definitely not what you want to see for Giroux. I mean, he's just trying to start this race, and he looked like he was going to get the lead out of it, too. We'll watch this replay one more time before they go back green flag racing. You see the 3-car had moved up, the 3T had moved up and just got in the line, and he's going to end up with the lead out of this Thomas Richard, but he was just kind of minding his own business and gets handed the race lead after qualifying on pole for our first heat event. You've got Brett Haas in second place, Matt DeRitter third, Liam Daniels in fourth, and Derek, how'd you say that name in fifth?
Woodzeek.
Woodzeek. All right, that's a unique one for sure. We'll go back green flag racing here momentarily. Thomas Richard leads us through turns 3 and 4, and we'll wait one more lap, it looks like.
Thomas Richards definitely got some weight taken off his shoulders as 2 heavy hitters are now starting at the tail of the field. Definitely maybe boosting some confidence, but I think we're still going to see these 2 drivers come up through the field in the 8 laps, or I guess we're counting caution, so the 4 laps remaining.
Yeah, it looks like caution laps do count this evening. It's nice for us because it puts more pressure on these drivers, means they're more apt to make some mistakes and race pretty hard. But drivers hate that when laps get wasted under yellow. We go back green flag racing, lap 4 of 8 here in heat number 1. Adam Hilton goes purple there, but that was a caution lap. Thomas Richard has the lead down the backstretch.
Thomas Richard with a huge lead off the jump. Fantastic start for him as they're battling for positions behind. Looks like Brett Haas is going to start pulling away from Matt DeRitter now as well as they kind of clear the top 3. Liam Daniels falling behind. And Derek Woodzeek to the inside, though, you see Adam Hilton taking that position and into 1 and 2.
These guys racing all over the racetrack back here. That's what we're talking about. The track getting tacky opens every line up here at Lernerville. Now through 7 of 8 laps. They have 1 lap to go. If you're Thomas Richard, he is looking pretty solid. He's got a big lead. 2 seconds it is back to Brett Haas. This is the battle for 2nd and 3rd. They are fighting things out, though, for the transfer spot. Adam Hilton has the spot currently over Ludovic Buisson, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. So Buisson, the first eliminated here in the heat. He'll have to race through the cotton seed as Thomas Richard wins Heat 1. Matt DeRitter makes that pass on Brett Haas. Liam Daniels and Adam Hilton make up the rest of your transfer spots in the top 5. On to stage number 2. Dylan, take it away for our starting grid.
Starting on the inside on pole, it's Kevin Stevens, number 52. On the outside of him in the 35 is Connor Ross. Row 2 on the inside is Corby Daniels, the number 88. Outside of him in the number 21 is Tyler Pachelski. Inside, 5th position goes to Matthew Beauvais in the number 2. On the outside of him in the 26 is Sebastian Labonte. On the inside in 7th is Michael Hackett in that number 8 machine. On the outside of him is Alan Wills in the 111.
This time, 8 cars ready to go on it, so that confirms our suspicions that it was a 25-car field. We should not send anybody home this evening, which is good news for Ludovic Buisson and everybody else who just got cut there, would have been cut from transferring directly into the feature, would have to race their way through the consies. I think we'll still have consolation races, possibly. It depends on how iRacing wants to sort this thing out. We are coming to the 1 to green signal here, and we'll be racing the next time by the start-finish line. We just saw a heck of a heat number 1. We're ready to do it all over again for 8 more laps. Kevin Stebbins, the pole sitter, here for this heat by qualifying 2nd place overall in our time trial session. Getting ready to come to the green. Oh, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. These guys using those Nerf bars, getting ready to come to the green flag for heat number 2. The green flag flies. We're back at it at Lernerville.
Kevin Stebbins and Connor Ross had a almost even start as Tyler Pachelski looks to the outside, but Connor Ross going to go to the inside, slide job to the top side, and he's going to take the lead as there's contact behind him, and somebody was into the wall there. Kevin Stebbins.
Kevin Stebbins, big problems, and that is a yellow.
It's going to bring out a caution on the race course.
That's exactly what we're talking about. You jump that cushion there in turn 4, you're going to have problems this evening. So Kevin Stebbins, he got a great start. Got up to the lead, and, well, I mean, he started up there to begin with, but cleared those guys, and they threw a couple of sliders on him, and I think he might have just been psyched out by Connor Ross putting that move on him in turns 3 and 4 because he just kind of rode up the cushion and off the racing surface.
Definitely, and Ross has got some pressure on him now, is starting beside him when they go double file here is Tyler Pachelski, who is a strong runner every week, and he is definitely somebody to look out for. I'm sure he's going to make some moves tonight, definitely in this heat race here. It's all about track position at this track because it can become a 1-lane track at times, and so that's why I think we're seeing a lot of aggressive racing in these heat races.
Well, thankfully here in Dillon, of course, being on iRacing.com as opposed to messing around with some real 360 sprint cars, when they have those incidents that you just saw from Kevin Stebbins, it was actually, I think Pachelski stalled the car for a second, checks up hard and gets a boot there from Corby Daniels saying, get going, we want to get this thing back green. But thankfully, when you have those kinds of incidents like Kevin just had at a turn 4, it doesn't tear up your car for the evening. Your wing is still straight. You're not complete junk. You can keep racing. So much more resilient racing machines we have here on iRacing.com, and it doesn't hurt the racing either to have these cars be a little bit more tankish, if you will, as opposed to their real-life counterparts. It just means these guys have a little more room for error and can keep racing after a mistake like that. Coming back to the green flag, we are, and these guys get it back under green flag conditions. There we go. I was trying to get some words out. Connor Ross takes the lead. Pachelski defending. He's up over the berm in turn 2. They're wadding it up.
It might bring out it's going to bring out a caution, maybe no caution so far, as Connor Ross pulls away with the lead, coming up on Tyler Pachelski now, just coming back out on the track, and that might allow Corby Daniels to get an advantage over Ross and maybe make the pass for the lead if they catch up to Tyler.
The battle's on at the transfer spot. The white flag in the air. Alan Wills is your final transfer currently. Obviously, these guys should all be good to go, but you still want to get in through the heat race directly. A big slide job. Who was that? Michael Hackett, I think. Threw it down to the bottom side. Alan Wills hangs on to 5th as Connor Ross wins heat number 2. Wow, that was a big move out of that 8-car, Michael Hackett. He really shipped it off down to the bottom side, and it almost worked, but he ends up finishing 7th in heat number 2. These guys are definitely not letting down so far this evening. Amazing racing.
Definitely. It is quite the performance tonight. It's going to be interesting for the feature, I can tell you that much, as we start lining up the heat number 3. Starting on the inside, in the number 22, it's Travis Miller. On the outside of him in the 38 is Ryan Susi. On the inside of row number 2, it's Dan Sider. On the outside of him is Joe Matthews in the number 1. Starting 5th in the number 33 is Patrick Reiser. On the outside of him is the number 25 of Michael Wenner. Starting 7th in the number 49 is Dean Meitzler. Outside of him in the number 66, it's Scotty B, Scott Bredrick.
That's your 8-car field for heat number 3. This will be the final heat that we have this evening. We'll see if iRacing elects to still have us run those consolation races or not. Of course, we'll keep you updated on what iRacing does, as we'll be seeing it ourselves as well. Travis Miller, last week's winner. He's been on a roll lately in PitStop TV broadcasted events. Not only did he win Kentucky Speedway in the Bluegrass iRacing Series, he wrapped up the championship as well. Not only did he win at Volusia last week, he won the Bluegrass iRacing Series All-Star race at Bristol 2 days later. This guy simply does not like to lose, and he doesn't do it all that often anymore. Travis Miller will be starting from P1 here in heat number 3. Gets not a very good start. Susi completely beats him and catches the 22 sleeping.
Susi with a fantastic start coming out to the pole as Travis Miller trails behind. Behind them, Dan Sider and Patrick Reiser fighting for the 3rd position as Travis Miller tries to track down Ryan Susi.
It's a great battle for P1. Oh, Miller off the racetrack. He does it just like everybody else has before. He's off the racing surface, losing tons of spots. Patrick Reiser now takes over 2nd place. No, Dan Snyder gets on by him on the top side. Reiser up into the fence down the front stretch. Sider takes P2 away from Joe Matthews, and Matthews actually falls back into the hands of Pat Reiser. They'll fight off into turns 3 and 4. Michael Wenner currently your 5th place transfer spot.
Pat Reiser looking to the inside, trying to find any way he can around Joe Matthews. Just can't make it work. Maybe in 3 and 4. He goes down to the inside. Is not going to slide up, but he's got to run. It's going to be neck and neck down the front stretch. But give that one to Joe Matthews as now Michael Wenner looking to the outside, trying to see if he can get around Patrick Reiser's. Not going to work, though, as that inside line is just dominant right now. We see Joe Matthews really putting on a show up top and catching that grip that Miller tried to grab but just fell off the end.
Looks like we might have a heat that goes green flag this time. Dylan, they're still fighting for 3rd and 4th. This is your top 5 battle. Oh, Reiser sideways in 1. 2 to go that time by the flag stand. Meitzler, Brederick, and Miller, the 3 cars that would not transfer straight in. Again, they may have to race through this consolation race, but it should all start the feature. Ryan Susi, though, still leading. Looks like he's going to come around, collect a checkered flag, and win heat number 3 this evening. Dan Sider is still 2nd place. You see Joe Matthews there 3rd, and they're still fighting it out for 5th. Contact on the final lap, the final corner, as Wenner takes that spot over Reiser, but they should all stay, and they do all stay in the top 5. Meitzler 6th, Miller 7th, and Brederick falls to P8 in this heat number 3. Again, they should all transfer, but the top 5 are guaranteed into the feature. Everybody else may have to race through that consolation race. We'll see what it does. Looks like we're going straight to warm-up, so everybody's in the feature, and they will line up based on their heat race results. iRacing's kind of finicky with that kind of stuff, but that is how that's going to work out. Since we only had 25 cars, 25 can make it. We didn't need to run the consolation races here, Dylan, so that makes it easier on everybody, really. Just go straight off into the feature.
Definitely. Miller is going to be, after that incident there, top runner, but he's going to be starting from the back of the pack I'm wondering if he can manage to bring it up to the front. I'm sure he can. He's going to be put on a show, definitely. We know that he can come up through a field. We've seen it happen before. But with such a tight track, it's going to be difficult for him. Okay. Bicknell Racing Products in St. Catharines, Ontario. For all your racing needs, go to Bicknell Racing Products. From anything from street cars to dirt cars and anything in between. Rival powder coating also. For all your power coating needs, anything between chassis from racing to home projects. Matt DeRitter Designs, producer of a lot of the beautiful schemes you see out on the track today. And not just another racing podcast with Pat Reiser, one of our Racers Weekly.
And of course, as always, we also want to thank our PitStop TV partners this evening. As always, we'll lead off with Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. You provide the image you want, and they will custom create a beautiful framed, high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. With Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com and use code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your order. That's a great deal as well going into the holiday season. Basically, you take a picture that you feel is important to you. It could be anything. I've got a race win up on my wall. It works out pretty perfectly. It could be a graduation picture, could be a wedding photo, anything for you. And you put it around. Well, they put it around the canvas and the box, and basically there's a Bluetooth speaker within that box. Very easy to hang up onto your wall. Holds a charge for a long time. You can even put batteries in it. It's super convenient. It's a product you don't think you need until you realize that you do. It could be a great gift for somebody going into the holiday season. Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine puts your appearance first. At Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Bollier, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call or text them at 207-358-8683. With locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Harrison, Maine, if you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, give them a call today to book a consultation. And of course, thank you as always to Whiplash Media, PitStop TV's new parent organization that specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing, camera packs, and more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence in real racing, offering services like photography, social media management, and public relations. Go to www.whiplash-media.com for more information. Dylan, we have already gone through that 3-minute warm-up session. What do you say we walk down our starting grid?
For sure. Starting on the pole in the number 23, it's Thomas Richard. Starting outside of him in the second position, in number 35, it's Connor Ross. On the inside of row number 2, in the number 38, it's Ryan Susi. Starting on the outside of him in the number 17 is Matt DeRitter. Starting 5th is Corby, the Beef Daniels, in the number 88. On the outside of him in the 84 is Dan Sider. Starting 7th is Brett Haas, number 55. Outside of him is Kevin Stebbins, the 52. Inside row, 9th position goes to Joe Matthews in the number 1 car. Outside of him is Liam Daniels.
Starting from 11th this evening is Sebastian Labonte. Michael Wenner to his outside in the 25 car. You roll back to row number 7. We've got the 3 car. Adam Hill on the bottom side. Alan Wills to his outside in 14th. 15th position brings us Pat Reiser in the 33 car. Ludovic Buisson rounds out in 16th spot. 17th starting position, Matthew Beauvais. 18th, Dean Meitzler. To finish out the top 20 for you here, Dylan, it's Dylan Woodsek, I think, a Woodsek, something like that, and Michael Hackett in 20th.
Starting 21st is Travis Miller, the number 22. Outside of him is Brian Berger in the number 60. 23rd position goes to Tyler Pachilski in the number 21. Outside of him is Scotty B, Scott Brederick in the number 66. And rounding up the field, it's the big show, Randy Giroux in the number 24 car.
And that will do it for our 25-car field. We've gone through all the heat races. We're ready to go feature racing here at Don Martin's Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania, where green flag from the 4/10th mile oval that is Lernerville. Immediately, Richard goes to the top side. Everybody's searching for grip high and low.
Susie down to the inside, looking for that pole position early, but Corby Daniels also looking to the inside. It might be the preferred line as Thomas Richard tries that outside and gets the run, taking the lead by 4 car lengths, and there's a caution on the race cars.
Michael Hackett involved. Oh, and he's up on his side along with Pachalski, it looks like. Sebastian Levante may have also been involved, but he keeps his car on all 4 wheels, thankfully. These guys not so lucky. You see Pachalski and Giroux battling side by side. Hackett gets in there. Oh, contact with Reiser. They race through 3 and 4. We'll see what happens to them here up out of the corner. And it's going to start. It looks like Pachalski just sideways out of 4 collects Hackett. Reiser involved, and another car gets a piece of it. Even the 66 there, Braderick, goes through the spinning and flipping number 8 car. But that, I think, is all there really is to talk about in that incident. It's just simply Pachalski got sideways.
Definitely an unfortunate incident. When these tracks get slick, it's just a thing that happens. Guys have a hard time controlling these cars. There's a lot of horsepower, and unfortunately took out a couple cars.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dylan, you can see how slicked off this place is. If we go back to one of our TV cameras, you can definitely see, even on the straightaway, they're slick all the way down the straights. And, I mean, this place is dried out. It is slicked off for the most part. It's not completely dry slick just yet, but there's still very, very sideways. Here at iRacing, as soon as you start to get that glossy-looking dirt, it's done. The track is going to lose tons of grip in that section of dirt. You've really got to try and find some moisture. Even if you could try and find some loose dirt, it tends to have a little bit more moisture for some odd reason than the packed down dry slick stuff. So even if you can find some of that kicked up stuff, it generally helps out a little bit more, I think, than just running straight through the black dirt there. We'll see how these guys do on our second start of the evening. It's going to be Thomas Richards still leading this thing, but Ryan Susi there on his outside. Corby Daniels, the beef, as you said, in P3, and they are back green at Lernerville.
Thomas Richard with a huge jump up to the outside. It seems to be his preferred line as Corby Daniels looking to the inside now. Can't make it work. Thomas Richard still pulls away with the pole. Corby Daniels now to the inside, trying to find that grip. Just can't get enough. As Brett Haas now to the inside, and there's a car down to the inside. I believe that was Matt DeRitter as they come up on Sebastian Labonte, the lap car. There must have been some contact as this is going to add a new factor to the race. You have to navigate through these lap cars as there was a car stopped as well on the inside there.
These guys having to work through a lot of obstacles right now. Oh, contact for the back, and that does bring out a yellow. I saw Sider may have been involved. Oh, and he gets the 111 back. I don't think he's too happy. I don't know if that was incidental contact or if that was intentional contact, but these guys definitely upset with one another. I think it was the pace truck flying through the field, and we'll see how it all works out. You mentioned cars were sideways. They were losing grip. There's DeRitter. He makes contact with Stebbins, but they all figured things out for the most part. Then they kind of, I guess, contract back into 1 and 2. Ooh, Busan makes contact with Sider. No, it was somebody else entirely that spun out, and I think that may have been Kevin Stebbins. It was.
We saw Sider give Wills a little shot there as well in retaliation. I'm wondering if that'll be something to look out for in the future of this race. Definitely not happy with Wills.
Oh, the 35 of Connor Ross got down into Stebbins into 1. That kind of sets all this up, and then he just gets into the 71 car there of Liam Daniels, goes around on his own, and that brings out this second caution flag on the evening. Thomas Richards still in race leader, the Beef Daniels in P2. Brett Haas in 3rd. It's Ryan Susi in 4th. Matt DeRitter rounds out your top 5. That's interesting as well, that DeRitter has hung on to that top 5 position because he was all over the place in that little bit of a green flag run. We'll see how these guys do. I think we're coming to the green flag here, coming to lap 12 of 30, Dylan. Oh my gosh, what a race we've already seen, and we're only a third of the way through this thing. Again, coming to the green flag. It's lap 11 coming to lap 12.
Thomas Richard with the jump. Corby Daniels now looking to the outside, trying to find that grip that Thomas Richard has been just thriving on up there as he pulls away from the field. Brett Haas follows behind, and there's another caution.
Dan Sider's one of them involved. He is a beach whale up on the outside of turn 2, and there's nothing that can help him at this point. He's just got to take the toe, and that is going to be a lengthy toe as well. He is stuck. He's giving it his all, but unless somebody comes and gives him a shove, Has he?
There he goes.
Wow, I'm impressed, but he's still got to try and get that thing turned in the right direction and rejoin the pacing field. There he goes. You see Pachalski and Giroux getting back on the lead lap. We're going to see if he can get back to the racetrack. Oh my, Dan Sider. How about that? Can we give him an award for sticking through that? Because it looked like he was out of this thing. Beast up there on the top side, up on that cushion.
Definitely. It's easy to give up, especially in those hard situations like that. And definitely a lot of perseverance there to keep it going. Got it back on the racetrack and turned the right way. And hopefully he can make it through again. It looks like a little bit of contact. Just a really bad break for him.
Yeah, Liam Daniels got sideways, made contact with Reiser, and Reiser just happened to catch Dan Sider off guard and flip him over out of turn number 2. So 3 cautions pretty quickly here in the first 15 laps. But as we saw at Volusia last week, they had that early onset of cautions, but then they started to figure things out.
Definitely. Once these guys get their feet wet, they start to understand the cars a little bit better, and they can start, getting some laps in, getting some green laps in. And hopefully that's the same deal for tonight, as we're coming around.
It looks like we're coming to the
now.
Green. And pace truck lights are off. They have opted to go single file restarts the rest of the way, Dylan, and that should hopefully help things out a little bit, but it also could cause some stack ups. We'll see how it all works out here on this, the 4th start/restart of the evening. They're back in green flag racing as, wow, that was a big drop down the banking for Thomas Richard.
Thomas Richard dropping down and just grabbing that grip and going. That's really where the only grip is on the track right now. Is there's another caution on the track.
Yet another yellow flag. It's hard to say where it was. It looks like somebody might have just turned around a little bit sideways and drawn that one out. I don't know if anybody really got wrecked back here. We'll try and figure something out, see if we can't find something around this 4/10 mile oval. So you're going to see these guys all take the green flag, watching from the blimp cam to see if we can see most of the racetrack, or at least what matters here, and find what happens to somebody. I really do imagine that either they didn't like the start to this, or somebody just got a little bit too sideways and it drew the yellow despite not really needing it. Let's see if we can go back and find it here. I'm not really certain. I didn't see anybody get sideways at all.
There were a few wave rounds granted as well, so it may have been an extension of the caution. I'm not entirely sure if there was...
Oh, there it is, Travis Miller!
Travis Miller. With Matthew Bove, I believe that was.
Yeah, that was some interesting contact there on the bottom side of the racetrack. We'll take a look back at it here for Travis Miller. He's got some cars to fight down to his bottom side. That was Wills making some contact on the restart. He goes to the inside of Connor Ross, and then here comes, I think that was the 2 of Bove, and just slammed him in the door, or I guess the Nerf bar, the lack of a door. And, they continued racing, but definitely some contact for sure.
Lights are out on the pace truck. We will be coming to green this time. Hopefully we can get some green flag laps in, as the track is definitely starting to slick out. As you can see, top to bottom, it is almost like an ice rink.
I guess you Canadians are pretty familiar with ice rinks, especially this time of year, eh? But, hopefully these guys have some set of tires then to go ice racing. It's only November, but hey, it is starting to get pretty cold in some places. We'll see how it all works out for them on this restart. Coming to lap 20, we go back green flag racing. Thomas Richard gets his usual good start. They're fighting for third on back. Haas down to the bottom side, Susie with him. Daniels down there to Ritter sideways off the top. Connor Ross joins them all.
Susie's going to get the position, running that inside line. Slides it up to the top, and Brett Haas back down to the inside. It's going to be a battle for second, as now the beef, Corby Daniels, trying for that third position. Ryan Susie now to the inside, though, taking it back. It is a battle, just bombs being thrown between all top 3.
Richard had a slow lap. He's got company from Brett Haas. They've realized the top is a little too slick. Oh, here's a slow car. That's Brian Berger on the top side. They keep racing. Green flag, we continue. Susie trying to get to the bottom side to miss that slow car. Connor Ross will have to do the same. They are somehow making it through now. We get a yellow flag. Oh! Connor Ross flipping into turn 1 after the caution was thrown.
Not sure what happened there. Must have been some contact. There was definitely a little bit of contact between the leaders as well. Maybe tension starting to rise as Brett Haas got into Thomas Richard coming out of the corner, just trying to sneak in around that inside.
Let's see if we can take a look from one of our static cameras. The speed shot here on the front stretch. You're going to see a lot of cars come by, and eventually we'll see Connor Ross come up towards the wall here as he exits turn 4. So the field here they come. Thomas Richard, Brett Haas, they make contact, the leaders, and then, looks like it's just out of frame for us to see, but yeah, Connor Ross, big flip into turn 1, and that's tragic as well, considering he had gotten up into one of those top spots and was fighting, and the yellow had already been thrown. I mean, the field was frozen, and then he makes contact with the wall and goes up and over.
Definitely, and we're seeing Travis Miller start to come up through the field now in 7th. He was starting way back in the field, and he's kind of like a snake in the grass right now, just hanging back, waiting to strike. I think he's going to be he might find that grip and get to the front in time, but time is running out as we only have 5 laps to go.
You can see there's the field coming down the front stretch, and man, what a treat we've been treated to so far. Halloween was a couple of days ago, but we've certainly not been tricked. And these guys will line up single file one more time. Hopefully, our final restart of the evening here in Dillon might be getting into a yellow flag finish territory. I wonder if we extend these races or not. I guess we might find out here shortly. Hopefully we don't get into that kind of situation, though. They can race for sure. It's just eventually they make some contact. Going to be racing out of turn number 4 as the green flag flies. They're back at lap 27 of 30.
Thomas Richard with his usual jump to the outside, but fighting for second position now. Corby Daniels and Brett Haas, as Corby Daniels falls behind, and Ryan Susi now to the outside, trying to find that grip that everybody's been looking for, and he's going to make it work. Now getting the run on Brett Haas, just not enough to make it by him as Brett Haas holds on a second.
There is so much speed on the top side, but that top side is so loose unless you hit it just right. Daniels still working the bottom side. Susi now into 4th as Haas and Daniels go back by the 38 car. They're fighting for 5th. Miller back into this thing. He's in the top 5. He clears Matt DeRitter down the backstretch. They're fighting behind, and they all slow one another up, but will stay with the race leaders. Daniels up the racetrack. Miller going to try and get up by him. The white flag flies for Thomas Richard, and this T3 car, 3T, whichever one it is, has been so fast all evening long. Runs the bottom side here to complete this one out. Daniels, no, that was Susi off the racetrack. Daniels takes 4th, and Brett Haas will take home 2nd place. Miller, I think, gets 3rd. He does. DeRitter 5th, and I'm not so sure what happened to Ryan Susi, but he threw a couple of spots away there.
It looks like he blew it off the top side, just trying to push it too far, and that's going to open up the door for Travis Miller, who's put on one performance tonight, coming all the way from the back of the pack up to 3rd position. Just fantastic run.
And what a run as well for a guy like Thomas Richard. He needed a good run as well to launch himself up in the point standings. This is exactly what he's going to do. But don't look too far, because Travis Miller may not have won this evening, but stays on the podium somehow. How about that 22 car? Just, he does not like losing, apparently. And nobody does, but man, he finds a tough time of losing these races, and even if he does lose, he's generally up there. We will take our customary post-race break right quick. We'll listen to a message from a couple of our partners, Tucson Sound Art and Permanent Makeup and Cryo and Made. We'll be right back to you here for post-race coverage from Lernerville Speedway. Don't go anywhere.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
And we welcome everybody back to Lernerville Speedway, checking out some of the amazing shots of that epic run to the finish for this entire field. Let's quickly, before we get into post-race interviews here, Dylan, let's actually check out our our race results, rather. And, man, it was a doozy for sure. Thomas Richard comes away with the feature win. Brett Haas there in second place. You see Travis Miller in third. Corby Daniels ends up in fourth. Matt DeRitter rounds out your top 10. You see Ryan Susi lost a few spots. He finishes in sixth. Kevin Stebbins, he was pretty quick this evening. Just got caught up with some stuff, some extracurricular activity. Ends up seventh spot. Joe Matthews, Patrick Reisner, Ludovic Busan round out our top 10. Moving back to 11th place here in our race results, Michael Wenner in the number 25 car takes a pretty good, solid result right there. Should have helped him a lot in the points, along with Sebastian Labonte in 12th. Randy Giroux comes from the very back of the field just about. I think he was shotgun on the field, 25th out of 25. He makes it up to 13th. You see Liam Daniels, Dan Sider, and then those back 10, walk us through them.
Brian Berger in 16th. 17th goes to Derek Woodseek. Alan Wills, we saw some contact between a couple cars, and Alan, he's going to end up 18th. 19th goes to Michael Hackett, and 20th to Dean Meitzler. In 21st is Tyler Pachulski. Right behind him in 22nd is Adam Hilton. Scott Bretherick in 23rd. 24th going to Matthew Bove, and 25th to Connor Ross. Tough break for these last five guys.
They all did a pretty good job, though, of providing a really amazing race. We'll talk to some of those stars now that really put on some great racing up front. Dylan, go ahead and take it away with race winner Thomas Richard.
Thomas, fantastic racing. This is going to put you in the points lead. Were you ever feeling any pressure from any of the drivers coming up behind you?
Yeah, on the start, I had Brett behind me. He was really strong on the start. He was closing me very near by me, so I had to do big starts to add an advance on him.
Well, fantastic run. The top side, we saw it start to come up towards the ledge, and definitely a treacherous ride along the outside. Was that ever a factor for you? Did you ever feel that you needed to go to the inside, play it safe?
Yeah, at the end, I went to the bottom and to be sure not to jump the cushion because it was pretty slick. So I had to keep it very secure.
Well, fantastic race. Congratulations on the win and the points lead, as we'll send it over to Andrew and Brett Haas, our second place finish.
And Brett Haas put on a great show trying to get up there to Thomas Richard and make that pass. But eventually, Brett, it doesn't come up just right for you to get the race win, but still a solid P2 and a pretty good night here at Lernerville.
No, absolutely. Congratulations to Thomas, and any night you could beat Travis. He's probably the class of the field in this series. There's a bunch of good guys in it, and so I do this like literally once a week in the series, so it's pretty good just to get a podium. And yeah, I was afraid to go up top. That's a fine line up there, so I just floated the bottom all race, and luckily it worked. Thomas got a bunch of good restarts, which put a little gap between us where I couldn't quite slide him. But yeah, overall, good night. We'll take it. And I got to thank all my real life sponsors too: Mac Tools, Dave Prime Jr., MJI Transport. And I got to give a shout out to my shot guy in real life who also races in the series, Joe Matthews with Jam Performance.
And Brett, it's pretty hard to give a shot in the shorts here in these sprint cars, but I think I just saw Corby Daniels do it in this replay of that run to the end. You had some guys breathing down your necks, including Corby as well as Ryan Susi and others. What was it like trying to defend from that, but also try and catch up to Thomas Richards?
I was just really trying to play it safe. I was probably driving it a little easier than I should have, but I just didn't want to mess up because after last week I had a pretty rough go around. But I probably didn't have the fastest car tonight, or due to driving the bottom. But like I said, I'd rather try playing defense. I had the track position, so it was going to be tough for those guys to get around me, especially how slick the track was. So like I said, I was trying to make my car as wide as I could, and I felt Corby one lap gave me a little bump, and then I saw Susi there, but I think I might have overdrove it a little bit. So it was definitely a fine line, but sometimes you got to play defense.
And Brett, after this very wide 4/10 mile, we go to a 5/10 mile, also a half mile, Eldora Speedway in 1 week's time. Do you think anything you learned this evening is going to transfer over there, especially with this place slicking off so bad?
I think Eldora is it's a different track. It's quite a bit faster with the bankings. So I don't know if it'll help. This track is probably one of the slicker tracks we go to, with it being kind of narrow in the corners, where Eldora you could fan out pretty good and find a little bite at that track. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll learn a little bit, get a good qualifying position, get a good transfer spot through the heat race, and then start up front and just maintain that track position and maybe make a quick few moves on the restarts, and we'll see what happens.
And Brett, I know you already plugged a couple of your partners, but tell us who else makes it happen for you in that number 55 car.
Oh, I got to thank my wife. She lets me do this every Monday night. But yeah, there's a bunch of them in real life too that help me out. Like I said, Mac Tools, Dave Prime Jr., MJI Transport, Jam Performance, Bilstein Shocks, County Auto Wrecking. There's a whole slew of them that I know I'm probably forgetting, and it's tough without looking at the car. But yeah, it's a team effort, and it's a good way to keep sharp in the off season. We're gonna go run the Short Track Super Series in real life down in Florida in January. So like I said, good way to keep sharp, run against some of these really good guys online, and hopefully whoop up on them a little bit.
Well, Brett, good luck to you in January, and good luck to you the rest of the season here in the BRP iRacing Series. You certainly look pretty good this evening, keeping sharp for sure in the offseason.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
That's Brett Haas finishing second place, but Travis Miller, we're getting used to talking to that guy. Dylan, it is your honor, man. He's just so quick.
Travis, amazing run. The heat, it was looking down. It looked like it was a really hard heat to run, and just with the contact and everything else. But starting from the back and coming all the way up to the podium position, just fantastic driving. Was there any sort of, we saw you kind of hang back and then strike at the last second. Was that a strategy of yours?
No, there's just a lot of cautions, so I couldn't really get up there fast enough. The car was good. We were running the top really good. I think we were one of the best cars on the top. Just ran out of time, had to start really deep, and I was only able to get like a couple cars before the caution would come out every time, so it was just a slow go to try and get to the front there.
We saw in the heat race, was it a very much of a deterring factor with the contact and the caution that came out? Or it wasn't even a caution, it was going off the end and everything else. Was that ever a deterring factor, or were you pretty confident that you could bring the car up to the front?
I knew I could get probably back up to top 5 if things played out the way it needed to, but it definitely sucked and set us back a fair bit, because you just have to start so deep. It's just tough trying to navigate all the traffic, but It's okay. It is a long season left, and we're not that far down in the points, so it'll be all right.
Is there anyone you to thank for this run?
Yeah, I just got to thank the BRP boys for all they do for me. Precision Auto Clinic, Gaston's Auto Sales, MDR Designs, Splash and Go Graphics, Colson Phelps Designs for the spring, all the dirt wraps, and thanks to you guys for putting this on. It's always a good time.
Fantastic drive from Travis Miller. Just an incredible run. We'll go to the post show.
Certainly a great time, as always, as we're learning here with the BRP iRacing series. Amazing stuff that these guys put on, amazing racing. Cannot wait to see where this series goes. Before we close up shop this evening, Dylan, go ahead and tell us about our BRP iRacing series league partners one more time.
Of course, Bicknell Racing Products, located in St. Catharines, Ontario. Rival Power Coating as well, located in St. Catharines, Ontario, for all your power coating needs. MDR Designs, producer of a lot of the fantastic schemes you see out on the track tonight. And Not Just Another Racing Podcast with Pat Reiser.
And, of course, one more shout-out to our partners here at PitStop TV, leading off with Tucson Sound Art. You can go to TucsonSoundArt.com to buy your holiday gift to someone that means a whole lot to you this holiday season. Use promo code PitStopTV for 10% off at checkout, as well as permanent makeup and cryo in Maine. Again, could be a holiday opportunity right there, a holiday gift opportunity if you are in the great state of Maine, up around the Auburn, Lewiston, Harrison areas. I think they've just opened another location. I don't recall the town name up there in Maine, but you can go to permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call 207-358-8683 for more information about them. And of course, Whiplash Media. You can go to www.whiplash-media.com for more information. Dylan, it has been a great time calling this evening with you, but as all great things must come to an end, this as well does. And that concludes our coverage tonight of the BRP iRacing series. We at PitStop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Be sure to join us again at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That is in just 39 minutes. Make sure to be right back here at PitStop TV. It gives you time to, go to Cookout, go to Sonic, wherever works for you. Grab a bite to eat, and even just make some popcorn, whatever works. And be right back here for the Northwest GT3 Challenge at Monza. That's going to be a great 1-hour race as well, as always. And again, on Sunday, for both the Operation E Motorsport iRace of Remembrance 6-hour endurance event and the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series, I believe, going to Richmond Raceway. We'll have to double check on that one. They may be going into an off week. They may be racing this weekend. A couple things got shifted around, but we will update you here soon. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStopTV, on Twitter at PitStopTV_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. For all of PitStop TV, Dylan Davidson with me on the mic, Trey Shuttlesworth on social media. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you, and we will see you next time.